Going on, guys? Been a little bit since we were outside with the good weather here in Michigan. Thought we'd shoot another little video out here, but I wanted to go over something that's super important and critical, and something I'm realizing every single day after spending years learning how to meditate, and then also spending thousands of dollars on how to build a business sustainably and learning how to really just overall personal development. Spend thousands of dollars on conferences, self-help books, programs. I can firmly tell you that the reason why 99% of people, not just business owners, but business owners are people too, never achieve the things that they want to achieve is because they burn out and do not put their mental health first and at the forefront of all of their activities. And if you've ever listened to Jim Rohn, he says, how do you make more money, right? Well, he says the only way we make money is not from time, it's from value, and value exchanged into the marketplace that we're in. And he said, how do you become more valuable, right? And he says a very simple phrase that genuinely has taken me years to understand, and I want to try to break it down for you in just a couple minutes here. But he says that you need to work on yourself harder than you work on your job. And now, when the first time I heard this, I didn't know what to think of it, just like many of the things that Jim Rohn says, and or lots of other personal development teachers, or anybody that's trying to lead, right? You got to say things a couple times before it makes sense. Doesn't always click the first time you hear it. And so when he said, you got to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Well, at the time, right, I ran a fitness coaching offer or sales team for that, or I was a sales rep for a fitness company, is a better way to say it. And, I just assumed, okay, yeah, work on myself, my physical health, my body, my mindset. And that is true. Literally. I know for a fact multiple times in my business and lots of other people's business, by just focusing on like working out more, or for me, I started the Aries versus the Sun challenge 237 days ago. I've been getting up before the sun, posting that accountability to my story on Instagram. And that little shift has completely changed my business. My price doubled. I've met and made contacts and clients from literally all over the world since then. And it's a small mental shift that happens that allows you to have a huge, tangible result in your business or life. Now, here's the problem. Most people have convinced themselves that their problems are more important than their own solutions. What does that mean? What I'm trying to say is, you have something built inside your brain that's so powerful and so capable of changing your state, and therefore changing your result, and changing the things that are attracting to you, and changing the action that you take. The problem is with this thing is that it doesn't really care if the state you're in is positive or negative for you. And so what will happen is especially when people get successful in an area where it starts to take up their time, right? Say you have a client-based business where each time you get paid, it takes, anywhere between 5 and, like a whole day or weeks or whatever per client. So it's very time consuming. And so now your success and time are tied together in your head. And so these people will get all flustered when they realize that they need to grow, and they realize, okay, if I spend 100% of my time on this business and the problems that arise in this business, well, then a couple things will start to happen. Number one, burnout will show itself in many different ways. But the first thing to go is usually going to be your hobbies. And I know what people think. I know what you might be saying. Well, you don't need hobbies when you're grinding. You got to be disciplined. And it's bullshit, bro. All the people who tell you and sell you on never doing things fun and never having any leisure or enjoyment in their life fucking watch Netflix afterwards. Are you aware that the people telling you to be locked in 24/7 are not locked in 24/7. And then when they get confronted on this, everybody acts surprised. I heard a great example is like people who make 100 times more than us don't actually work 100 times harder. And there's this weird thing you have in your brain that's adaptable and will literally figure out any problem you give it enough time to handle. And so if you choose to say, fuck it, I'm going to make myself and my mental health and my thoughts and my mindset and my self-care the number one priority in my life above everything else, I will force myself to figure the rest out. Guess what'll happen? Well, what most people think will happen is they'll slack off, and the things that they think will get behind, and the clients won't come, and they won't make money, and they won't have to, the whole bad news bear story that people tell themselves is the reason they have to work until they no longer enjoy not only themselves, their hobbies, their family, their children, the thing that made them money in the first place. And then at that point, what are you even doing? Right? If you have to get up every day to force yourself to go to work or a job, going to work is one thing, but because if you can't control that, right? That's kind of the trade-off of the dependability of a check, which is cool. I'm not here to argue with you about that. But if you own a business, bruh, you bought a job if you live like that. If you have to get up and you have to do these things in an order that is not in the way that you want it to be and does not include your self-care and does not include the life that you want, you will always feel like you're failing. And because you feel like you're failing or feel like you're burning out, you'll make dumbass decisions that will actually manifest real life failure into your business. And then you'll be like, why is this happening? Why do I keep making these decisions? It's because it's not because you're incapable, right? Don't tell yourself, this is always what happens, this is what I do. It's because we have just not yet put in a schedule to make sure you're always in a state that doesn't make decisions like that. And that's what successful people do. They're always either naturally in that state due to the way they live their life, or they schedule the time to be that way. I'm not like those guys who are just motivated to go, right? I'm probably, if you are of average intelligence, average stature, well, I'm a little big, right? But if you are normal, then you're like me, and then that means you may have to do a little bit of extra work to maintain that positive state that literally sends a success. You guys ever notice there's somebody in your industry or area that is literally twice as successful as you and maybe works 1/4 the amount of time? And it's so easy to go, oh yeah, that's because of XYZ, but it's probably because of the state they live in, or because they've put in place some things to maintain that level. Because if you don't, you will burn out. And if you're already burning out, it's okay. It's not too late. You can either book a call with me. I help entrepreneurs remove self-doubt and limiting beliefs and defeat burnout so you can get back to making positive decisions, enjoying your relationships, and genuinely connecting with the people in front of you. So if you want to know more, you can book a call with me, or we'll see you then on the next video. Peace, love, and prosperity.